Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel. And today I'm back with a video on how to make a woman trouser. Okay, so this is the most straightforward way to make a woman trouser. Okay, and it's very easy. So just get your popcorn, sit, relax, and make sure you watch till the end of the video. If you find this video useful, kindly give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to share it with your soulmate, and make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss on any of my weekly videos. Again, don't forget to comment. Just tell me anything, okay? So guys, we're just going to start, and I already have my pattern paper with me. These are the measurements I'm going to be working with, and so I've already drawn a line 2 inches in, 2 inches in, and this is just to help us work with the straight line. Okay, so this line up here is going to serve as our waistline. Okay, so this will be our waistline. Right, so what we are going to do next is to get our hip line. Okay, so hip line, it's normally 8. It's normally 8 for the shorter people and 9 if you are tall. Okay, so or you can just measure for the person you are working with. So I'm going to work with 8 inches, just like that. 8 inches. Then join the line, draw a straight line to connect the dots. That's right. So what we are having here is the hip line. Okay, like that. Next we are going to look to get our crotch line. How do you get your crotch line? Okay, so you how to achieve a crotch line: just sit on a hard surface and measure from your waist, okay, to the hard surface where you are seated. So mine is 9. Okay, I'm going to mark 9 like that. Right, again draw a straight line. So this one here now becomes our crotch line. Okay, crotch line like that. Next we are now looking for the thigh line. Okay, and the thigh line is normally 3 inches from the crotch line. Okay, just get your 3 inches from here, from the crotch line downwards. This is going to be our thigh line. Okay, make a straight line again. Just like that. And now this becomes our thigh line. Okay, now this becomes our thigh line, right? So after all that is done, now what we are going to do now, we want to now start working on the waist. Okay, so what we are going to do, get your measurement. Okay, your hip measurement, right? My hip measurement is 38 divided by 4. Okay, actually it's 37 divide by 4, right? And then I have my 9, and then I'll add 0.5 inches for the sewing allowance, if that's right. So for this one, I'm going to have my 9 inches. What I mean here, just get the waist measurement, divide what you have by 4, okay, and then add half an inch as the sewing allowance, or we can call it ease allowance, okay. So I'm going to have my 9.5 right at the hip line. So what you are going to do now, for the waistline, make sure you have the same 9.5, crotch line 9.5, thigh line 9.5, okay. So what we are going to do is for the crotch line, we are marking 9.5. Waistline, also mark your 9.5, okay. And for the thigh line also mark 9.5, okay. Remember, our measurement starts right here from this line. So what you are now going to do, you are now going to draw a straight line, okay. We are now drawing a straight line here, just like that. As I said, we are working on the waist, okay. So this one is going to help us get the waist measurement. What you are now going to do, now we are not going to start to measure our waist measurement from here, but we are going to start from this far end, okay. So our waist measurement, the waist measurement I'm working with is 7, right? It's 7 inches. That's somewhere here, all right. I'm going to give it 0.5 inches for sewing allowance, all right. And then I'm going to add another 1 inch for the darts. So from there to here, this 1 inch is here. So now this is what I'm having. I'm going to repeat. The waist measurement I'm working with, okay, is 7. Actually, what I have divided by 4 is 7, right? I hope you can see this. 7. Then from that 7, I add 0.5. That will become my sewing allowance, okay. And then from here, I add another 1 inch for my darts, okay. So I'm going to mark it here. So this now becomes my waistline measurement. Remember, it's from this far end, not from here, as we normally do, right? So guys, what we are going to do now is to join this line, okay, to the hip line. I hope we are together now. So let's do that. Just get your curve ruler. I think it should be something like this. Get your curve ruler and then curve it nicely. Yeah, so it's something like this, okay. What now we are going to do next is to get now, what do we call it? The crotch curve, okay. We are now going to get the crotch curve. How do we get the crotch curve? What you need to do, measure the hip measurement. You have your hip measurement at it was, and it was 9.5, right? Have your 9.5 divide by 4, okay. Just use your tape. It's a 9.5 divide by 4, okay. So make sure what you have will become is where your crotch curve is going to end. So right here I'm having actually 2.5. So I come here and get that 2.5 at the crotch. It's a 2.5. Now that's right. So what we are going to do next, we want to create that curve, okay? And to make sure the curve is not so deep, because when it's deep, you will be so uncomfortable. So to make sure it's not deep, have your 2 inches. Just create a 2 inches from somewhere here. All right. Measure something like 2 inches and then you curve it. This will make sure it's not that deep. Or if you are very sure you will not have it quite deep, you can just curve it with the free hand, right? And for that you have to be very sure. Yeah, so that's how mine looks. Okay, so up to that point, what we want to do now, we want to get the center line, okay, so that we can shape our trouser. Okay, how do we get the center line now? Mark what you have from, okay, on the crotch line, mark what you have from this point to this point. Okay, what we are having now is 12 inches. So get the half of this, which is 6, right? The half of it is 6. Sorry about that. From here to this point, we get the half, and this half is 6. So mark that 6 here. Okay, mark 6 all through, mark 6 again. Okay, have your 12 here, and then get your 6, becomes your straight. Sorry, have your 6 from here. Okay, it's from here, have your 6. Okay, do the same to the thigh line, mark your 6. Oh, something we didn't do the now we are getting our waist to knee line. We forgot waist to knee line, where we are now going to have what I'm working with. This waist to knee line is 20. I'm going to mark 20. And now this becomes our knee line. Okay, we are now going to get our ankle line. Okay, our ankle line will be from waist to the ankle, and what I'm working with is 34. Remember, Remember to add a 2-inch, okay? Okay, that 2 inches we've just added will serve you to fold, okay? So back to where we were. We wanted to create the straight line so that we can shape the trouser nicely. I'm going to repeat what we did. Okay, to get that straight line, right, have your measurement on the crotch line. What you have from this point to this point, divide that by 2 to get the center line, okay? And our center line is 6. Mark 6 there. Go to the waistline, get your 6 again, okay? Mark your 6 here. Go to the thigh line, get your 6, mark it right here. Go to the knee line, get your 6, just like that, mark it here, okay? Come to your ankle line. This is ankle line. Come here, get your 6 and mark it here. So after that, draw a straight line to get your center line, okay? So our 6, okay, our center line is going to be somewhere here. Draw a straight line, just like that. A straight line, just like that. What we are now going to do, okay, is now to get the shape of the trouser, all right? So come to your thigh line, all right? My measurement for the thigh line is 21. 21 divided by 2 is 11. 11 divided by 2 is 5.5. Yeah. So what we are now going to do, here is my tape. I'm having 21. So I'm having 21 divided by 2, right? It's 21 divided by 2. It's actually 10.5, right? 10.5. Now divide 10.5 by 2 again. What do we have? It's like 5.2, okay? It's around 5.2. Now come to your thigh line. Have that 5.2 in the middle. We are now having that 5.2 in the middle of this line, okay? So have your 5.2 in the middle. This is a bit tricky, but we are going to make it right, okay? So mark here, 5.2 ends here. And then what did we have after dividing 21 by 2? It was 10.5, right? Mark your 10.5 here. Okay, I hope up to that point we are together. Come to the knee line. Do the same with the knee line, okay? The knee line I'm working with is it's 14.5, okay? Have your 14.5. This is my 14.5 here. 14.5 divided by 2. I'm having a 7.2, okay? 7.2 divide by 2 again, divide by 2 again, I'm having like 3.6. okay, so I'm going to work with my, make sure now you have that 3.6 in the middle right here. Your 3.6 begins from this point and it ends here. Okay, so again, what did we have after dividing 14.5 by 2? We had something like 7.2, right? Yeah, it's actually around 7.2. Come here, get your 7.2. I hope we are doing great. Come to the knee, to the ankle length, sorry. The ankle length I'm working with is, yeah, sorry, I didn't get that. Just a minute. Just a minute, just a minute, just a minute. I want it 10. So the ankle length I'm working with is 10. Okay. I'm now going to have 10. My 10 is here. 10 divide by 2. I'm having 5. Okay. 5 divide by 2 again. Divide by 2 again is 2.5. You can see that. Have your 2.5 in the middle. Yeah, it's a bit tricky, but I know you can follow. You're very smart to miss this. Okay, so have your 2.5 right here and it ends here. Okay, what did we have after getting 10 divided by 2? We had 5. Come and mark that 5 here. I hope up to that point we are good. So what we are now going to do is to join these lines, okay, and come and join these other ones too, okay, so that we can get the shape we want. If you want it a bit baggy, okay, a bit loose, I mean, you will add your inches going that way, okay. Or you will do that by the time you are measuring, okay, the person you are working with. That's nice. So let's join these lines now to get our trouser shape. Now this is the shape of our trouser after joining the lines and joining the line like that. Okay, now this becomes the front part. Okay, so what we are going now, we are done with the front part. We are now going to get our back. Okay, so what we are going to do, if you have that clear, that white pattern paper, you will use that to trace this shape, to trace this. Okay, you will just place it on top and then the lines will appear since the pattern paper is very transparent. That other one that's what I mean. You will place it on top and then you trace everything. Okay, so because I don't have that transparent one, I'm going to use, as always, I'm going to use what I'm having, which is this one. In as much as it's quite hectic to work with, I'm just going to use it. Okay, so what I'm going to do in my case, I will just have this on top. Okay, just like that, right? And I'm going to trace everything all through like this. Okay, after tracing everything, this is now what we have for the back. Okay, so now we are going to work with the back piece, right? So this was our waistline. Okay, let's write it here. This was our waistline. Okay, this one here is our hip line, right? Hip line. This one is the crotch line, right? I'm just making sure we are still together. This part is our thigh line. Okay, then knee line, and finally we have the ankle line down here. All right, so what we are going to do for the back, okay, now let's get this part. Let's get this part to the center line. Okay, and what we have here, we are going to divide it by 2. Okay, mark what you have in the center line. So let's just keep this point. We will get back here. And so we want to work on the crotch line, on the back crotch line. Okay, and the back crotch line is a bit bigger. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to move by 2 inches. Mark your 2 inches here. After getting this point here, move down by 1/2 inch. Okay, move down by 1/2. Mark that 1/2 inch somewhere here. Okay, all right. After doing that, what you are now going to do, get the measurement from this point to this point. You remember this line we had here? Get the measurement from here to here. Okay, and what we are having is 2.2. No, what we are having is 2 inches. Come and transfer that 2 inches on top of this line, on top of this point we marked here. Okay, mark your 2 point. Wow, so my 2 point is somewhere here. Okay, right? So what we are now going to do, we are going to join this line up to this point. Now we are creating a curve, and just the way I said before, if you don't want the curve to be quite deep, move from this far end, by 2 inches. Okay, that will make the curve to appear not quite too deep, right? Let's draw the curve and then join the line from here to here. Once this is done, now we have our curve from this point to this point. Okay, now once that is done, we are now going to get the waist, right? How do we get the waistline for the back of the trouser? What we are going to do now, we are going to measure the original waist we had for the front from this point, okay, to this point. We had 8.5. okay, now after measuring the 8.5, the original waistline you had from this point to this point, come here to this point, okay, where we connected the curve. Measure it in a slant way. Make sure it's slant. Okay, come down and get your 8.5. all right, make it on a slant way and come to where your 8.5 is. Mine is here. This is my 8.5, so I mark it here, and this now becomes our original waist for the back. Join this point to this point here, a slant line, just like that. Now this is going to become our waist for the back, right? After that is done, what we are going to do, we want now to achieve the back curve, right? So now what we are going to do, you come to the thigh line. This is the thigh line. Move by 1 inch, right? To the knee line, 1 inch. Come to this ankle line, 1 inch. Do that both sides. 1 inch, 1 inch, and to the knee line, 1 inch. So what we are now going to do, we are now going to achieve the back. Okay, what we are going to do is to achieve the back curve. For this part, make sure you meet it here to this one, and then this 1 inch. Going down, do the same to this part, like that, downwards. Okay, this part we're just going to curve it this way until we come here to this point. Now we are going to get the back darts. Okay, after getting that shape, we are going to get the darts. And for us to get the darts, since this waistline is slanted, and how we are going to get the darts, come to this point, measure what you had from here to here to the center line, from the original waist. Okay, that point to this point, what you are having. Okay, for me, I'm having 3.5. okay, so I'm going to get this 3.5 here. Okay, I'm going to measure it from this point to this point. I'm going to measure the 3.5 I measured from here to here to the center line. So I'm going to mark it here. All right. By doing this, I'm now going to get another slanted line. Okay, same as this one here. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw it, the slanted, just like that, slanted, right? So we are going to get it. Oh, let me use another marker pen because the lines are now so many. Let's do it like this. Let's mark this one here. We want to have something slanted so that it will align with this one over here. Okay, so let's mark it like this. Yeah, that's right. And because we are creating a dart, after getting that, let's mark it at 5 inches. Great. Come up here from this part, half an inch to create our dart. Half an inch, another half an inch, just like that. Come and now create your darts. This point. Okay, have another one here at that point. Now we have our back trouser darts. If that's right. Okay, so after having all this, we are now done. We are done with the back of the trouser, and we are also done with the front, and we're also done with the front side. This is the front side of the trouser. We didn't create a dart for the front side, so we are now going to create the dart, and then we add the seam allowance of half an inch all through. For this one, the dart, making a dart here is just simple. It's just normal. Use your center line to have your darts, and just have this half an inch, and mark your darts. then just join it. Join this to get your dart. Okay, just like that. Just like that. And so once that is done, let's add the seam allowance of 1/2 inch from this. We are now creating a seam allowance of 1/2 inch. And there you have your patterns ready for the front. Now what you are now going to do, after adding the seam allowance, what you are going to do is just to cut it through, just cut it through. Now this one becomes your front of the trouser, and here we go. This one becomes your back part.